Hi, today I'm going to show you how to bulk import and automate CSV or XLSX imports into Klaviyo. It should only take like a minute or so to get it set up, and then you'll be rocking. So let's dive right in. So when you look at how Klaviyo works, we're going to go over the track API today. So we're going to want to fire track events into Klaviyo. So let's say we have this CSV we get every day, and it has a list of orders. And you'll see here this order has a bunch of line items in it. This person bought a bunch of different products. This order only has one line item in it, so it'll just be one call. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take the CSV or XLSX we want to import, and we want to make sure it's a CSV file to set up, but it doesn't have to be CSV when you want to automate. So we're just going to download this CSV. Cool. Then we'll go into EasyCSV, and you'll be able to create your first import page, which you get an import page and a flow to automate with. So we'll just drag that file here to help set up, and you'll see it grabs all the columns. You can uncheck any columns you're not going to use at all if you want. That will help if you have very large files, like many rows and many columns, if you just want to get rid of some of them. In this case, we're going to keep them all. So let's call this test order import. You can name it whatever you want. The next. For this one, we're going to post data to any app or API. So click that. Cool. And so this is your import page. Eventually you can just drag the file here and import it if you just want to do it manually. You can have the files emailed to your custom email address as attachments or links in the email if you get this report every day. We also have the scheduled fetcher functionality where you can go in here and you can have the file fetched from FTP or Google Drive or Dropbox or a URL on a schedule you choose. So there's different ways to automate this situation. A lot of people have like daily, like every day I want to grab this CSV report, or I want to send the CSV report to EasyCSV, and I want all the data imported into Klaviyo. So now that we've made this page that's based off our CSV we'll get, we want to go into the import flow. And this top area is everything we just talked about, how to get the file to EasyCSV. The middle area of the import flow is these are the columns you told EasyCSV to care about. You can filter out bad data if you want. So if you have rows like, this one has orders and refunds. Like if you don't want refunds, you can say I only want things where item subtotal is greater than 0. Or you can say, I think there's a type in here where it's like refund. Yeah, where action is purchase. You could say only import if action is purchase here. So you can get rid of data if you don't want it. Virtual fields are a way to make new fields or combine fields or massage fields. So maybe you don't want to put it in as purchase. You want to put it in as checkout. You could say if action is purchase, change the value to checkout. You can do a lot of things with virtual fields, so check our docs on that. We're not going to do any. And then the final part of the import flow is the destination. So in this case, we're going to say what URL do we want to post to. I'm just going to grab that from over here. We're going to there's only 2 URLs for Klaviyo. There's the track and identify, so we're going to put in the track. Now, one key thing here is the Klaviyo API expects the data be sent as form data. So we'll check form data. Cool. So save that. Go back to the import flow. Now, it would start sending records to Klaviyo, but not with the data structure that Klaviyo expects. Klaviyo expects track events to look more like this, where you have your token, your API token, so you're going to have to grab that from Klaviyo. The name of the event, customer properties, a lot of times you might just be sending email if this is an external system and that's the only way to match to the customer record. You can send more if you want, like this. And then properties. Properties there's some standard ones for Klaviyo, and then there's some custom for you. It's very much customizable. So you'll just put in the key value pairs, right? Make sure you comma separate the lines. We'll do this together. I'm going to show you how to nest rows. So in our example here, right, this first order has actually a bunch of rows to the order. So we only want to send one track call, but have many items. I'll show how to do that. So we're back in the import flow here. Now let me show you a basic way to send that data. So you'll click Customize the JSON to Post, and this is where you're going to look in those docs, and you can copy the structure that's needed. So in this case, I have a very basic structure here. I just pasted it. You're going to put in your API token here. That's important. We don't want to call it item returned. We're going to call it in-store order. Let's say these are the orders from the store, like in the physical store instead of the web store. And then on the right is all the column names and how to use their values. So in this case, so we want to take email, and this was an old thing. We're going to put email here. And so that's going to get the value from the email column for every row. It's going to make one API call per row of the file right now. And under properties, right, instead of value, let's do total. And when it's not in quotes, yeah, these are in quotes, that's making it a string, right? So like free shipping is a string, but 5 is a number. See how value here is 29.98. So, you kind of have to decide, do you want it as a string, so you put it in quotes, or do you just want it as that value? So this one doesn't really matter, so let's leave that just for a test. So what this would do is, on an import, each row would make a separate call right now. So this would make a track call, this would make a track call, which we don't want in the end, but if you have a file where you don't have multiple items per thing, this would be great. And it would say, this in-store order, this person made an in-store order that had a value of this. And you could save this, and this would be ready to go. You'd be all done. You could just drag the file here. You could email the file every day. You could get it from somewhere every day. And you'd be tracking things from a CSV. That's how easy it is to just make a simple track call with Klaviyo. So now let's get into grouping things. So let's say we want to group these rows into one track call for an order. Right, so this part of the docs here is showing you exactly how to do that in Klaviyo. Everything looks the same, customer properties, except for this items thing. This item thing is a group of rows from the file with each item that was purchased, right? So in this case, maybe they bought 2 movies or 2 books. They look like books. So one was Winnie the Pooh and one was Tale of Two Cities. And they each have a different price, and they each have a different title, right? So what we want to do is we want to group these rows by something. And in this case, the identifier of the grouper is the order ID. So let's go back into EasyCSV. We'll go to the import flow. Grouping is only available in our business plans, so make sure you're on your business plan. We give really easy refunds if you want to try stuff out and it doesn't work. You just contact support and we do that. So we'll go in here and we'll go to the order column. I'll go back to the import flow. We just go to columns. We say columns. Which column do we want to group by? So we edit and we say use this column to group multiple lines together. So we're going to save that. Cool. You'll see that now it says it's grouping rows. In the import flow, it's going to group rows after all these things. And it's grouping by the order ID column. So now your imports would still work right now. But what we want to do is we go to custom JSON. And you'll see here it says grouping rows. And you'll have this new block down here where you can specify more JSON. And what we're going to do is we're going to specify this item, just this little block right here. We're going to say, what should this item look like when we send it to Klaviyo? So let me grab some more robust JSON here. So, in this case, this CSV has a ton of data in it. So I'm going to make a more involved JSON here. If this is not, if you're not interested in orders with sub items, you can stop watching here and you should be good to go. Let's put in a more robust thing here. So we've put in, more data here. It's still our token. The event I've changed it called created in-store purchase. Customer properties is still email, but now I have a ton of properties. These are all the properties I have in Klaviyo. The special thing here is this for items. I've put this special syntax, which it tells you down here in the helping thing. You just copy this and you paste it up here where you want all the items to be, and it'll put all the items there for you. And so what it's saying is, okay, you have this special value here, but you haven't specified, any data in here. So let's say what we want that item to look like. right? So this is what the item, each item will look like. You know, it has a product ID, there's a price for the item, there's a discount for the item, there's a brand for the item. Right, if we go look in our thing here. Go over to the right. Right, there's item discounts. There's all those things for the, you know, the item brand. And so we just want to make sure we specify that item level JSON data structure here. And it'll be put here under items as an array. So for each row grouped by this order ID, it's going to make one of these and then put that list right here, just like this example, right? It makes one of these and then it makes a list of all those grouped ones and puts it right there where you want it. Cool. Then we save that. And now you're sending nested JSON to Klaviyo. So orders with line items, other things that have many items in single track calls. So if you need any help, reach out to EasyCSV support, but those are the two most common ways to use EasyCSV to automate importing data from legacy systems or different systems that Klaviyo doesn't currently integrate with. Thanks.